Saddle up your horses.
Hey guys, we are here with Kickin' It Java Style and Dreamcatcher 320, and I have my guest here today is Miss Carol Hogner, and we're in Gordon, Texas, out on her ranch, on her porch, drinking coffee. We love our coffee, just in case you guys have not figured that out yet by following us on social media.
Gotta have it.
Yes, absolutely. So you want to tell us how you got to Gordon, Texas?
First of all, welcome to the ranch. We call it Young Pro Training Camp, Joshua Cowboy Ministry, Carol Hogner. Cassie is as big a part of what goes on out here as anybody is, and I'm grateful for that. You always will be. We came to Gordon, Texas about, I think, 11 years ago. We moved here from Stephenville. We were kind of nomads. We lived in a horse trailer, and the Lord put it on our heart to find some property. This was the first place we looked at, and we couldn't believe it could be ours, to be honest with you. So we looked another 2 weeks until I was so sick of it. I looked at Jeff one day and I said, I can't do it anymore. And we really believed it was too big, and the Lord miraculously let us come here and gave us this place. So I've always said it's just been a wonderful place to be. It's full of peace and joy and love and all the things that my husband prayed for and I agreed with.
I agree. I moved here 3 years ago, actually this month. So I started coming down here about 3.5 years ago, and so I would have moved here in April in 2013. And it is definitely a place of rest and peace and love and joy and beautiful, beautiful, peaceful place. So I've really enjoyed being here.
Well, you know, this is home.
Yes.
Always home, so.
Carol sings Christian country music, and she has been traveling for about 20 plus years. She started out doing the USTRC with Jeff about 20 years ago, right? In the junior pro.
Probably getting closer to 25 if I was honest.
I know, I don't know, my math gets a little messed up after 20 years.
After 10.
After 10. Could you tell us a little bit about what you used to do with traveling with the youth and your junior pro?
Sure. Jeff had a vision of like the power team, where they would go across the country and show their skills and give God the glory and honor for what they did. And he saw that in the team roping world. And we sat and talked to Alan Bach and Clay O'Brien Cooper and Jake Barnes, and they thought that that was a great idea, and through all the favor that God could give anybody, he took a girl that didn't even know what team roping was, and along with a husband that was avid in team roping. Once I met him, and caused us to have a lot of favor with those guys, and so they would help us put on team ropings for upper level students, you know, the guys that were really going to do something with their roping. And then those kids would teach the lower numbered ropers, you know, what they had been taught. So it was that pay it forward kind of a thing. And so we put it together, and I can't even remember what year it was we started out, to be honest with you. I don't do good with the years. I just know we did it. Right. And we put together, our first team was probably 11 kids, and we had horses and trailers, and off we went across the country and into Canada. And the first year we got back, I decided I wouldn't do that anymore. I was tired and didn't want to go anymore, and I'd seen my husband kind of not be treated well, and I wasn't willing to put up with that. And as I began to pray about it, the Lord said, if you'll ask them to help you, they'll help you. And I went, well, duh. Wasn't that a novel idea?
Right.
And from that day forward, it was an amazing trip, amazing ride, if you want to say. But we got to see a lot of people come to the Lord. Those kids were wonderful. I love every one of them to this day, and still hear from a lot of them.
I've met several of, well, they're adults now, and they are amazing, and I've got to go help with the junior pro in Grove and see some of those older ones teaching the younger ones, and it's really blessed my heart.
Still giving back.
Oh yes. Can't go anywhere that they don't want a Mama Joe hug, so, and I don't blame them.
That's my gift. I like the hugging, and at first I just thought it was for me, and it is still for me, because, you know, I like them. They make me feel better, but it's I think there's an anointing and there's a gift in that, because a lot of people don't even ever get a hug.
I agree. So what are you doing with your young pro and junior pro? What's going on with that right now?
Right now, we just have the junior pro program, and I've kind of handed that off to Hannah, my daughter, and she's doing a great job with it. I've always said if anybody would keep doing what we did, it would be Hannah, and Hallie comes and helps too. But I still think that God doesn't just call a couple or a person to the ministry, he calls your whole family. So while we're out doing that, Josh and Gurley are here taking care of the place. We've got 47 acres here and a few head of horses, and they can't be left for months at a time the way we were going. So, and then anytime I need Amber, she'll jump right in there and help and does photography, and it's a family thing. I believe that God calls a family.
Yeah, I agree. I've been blessed to get to help with a few of the service, and it's an honor to get to help. And every time I go, that's all I hear. Is where's Mama Joe and where's Lou, and they all love you so much.
But if we give love, we get love.
Absolutely.
And I've been a firm believer of that. It's like just like they always say about friendship. If you want a friend, you got to be one. So if you want loving, you got to give some. So.
Absolutely. So just check out her website. It's called Just a Touch of Love. So.
And actually, Lou came up with that little tagline for me, and it fits. So, but that's easy for me. Everybody's like, "How do you?" Well, I don't understand why you can be sweet all the time. And I'm going, well, number one, you're not at home with me all the time, but it's just easy for me. I love people, and they love me back, so it's easy. It's a gift.
Well, I have been home with you, and you're still easy to love.
Well, thanks. All the time, but thanks.
Well, let's talk about your music.
Woohoo!
Yeah. You are really doing a lot more music now than just traveling and doing all the rest. And so I know you have Saddle Up and you have to remind me of the other CD. Change. And you've had those for a while. When did you start recording?
I think it was the very first year Jeff and I were married. We went to Nashville, and I just did pre-recorded tracks, and we went into praise hymns, and anyway, went to praise hymns and met a guy there that had been with the Happy Goodmans. He was married to their daughter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so just again, every time we go, it seems like God sets the stage. Of course, we do a lot of praying, and He sets the stage for us to have favor with people. So we went there and did that probably, I guess, 20 plus years ago, and had a good success with that. But I never really felt like I was ever good enough to be on the radio. Never even crossed my mind to be on the radio, to be honest with you. I just knew that God had called me to the team roping ministry at that point in my life. And I love to sing. I mean, if we're not making a pee-pee song or a potty song, we sing about everything. Ask my kids. But that's who we are. We like it. My not even 2-year-old grandson is already trying to sing. I think that's phenomenal. So don't ever think what you do doesn't impact your children.
Trying. I think he does a pretty good job.
Yeah, he's working on it.
He's not even 2, and he knows the words to your songs.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, when I met you, I believe it was 2012, and you had just come out with your CD, Ordinary Things, which is the one that is your newest. And where did you go, and how did you get that recorded?
You want the whole story or the short version?
Hey, give us the whole story.
The whole story. I had a couple in Arkansas that had been ministry friends of ours for a long, long time contact me and said, we have some money that we'd like to donate, and we'd really like to see you put it towards a new music project, but you do whatever you need to with it. If you need it somewhere else, you do that. Well, I'd been praying for 10 years to do a new project and just had never come up with the money. And so I felt like that was answer to prayer, and I told them that. So I was on a Friday. That was on a Friday. I had thought, well, I'll call, because I didn't know how to produce anything. Jeff had always done that. And I said, let me call my brother, Alan Joyner, in Alabama and see if he would help me with that. Before I could call him on Monday, he called me asking for prayer for me to agree with prayer. And I said, hey, I got to pick your brain. Would you be interested in helping me produce a CD? He said, I got one better than that. He said, I got 2 cousins in Nashville that's what they do. And it was Mark Johnson and Michael Johnson. And
Wow.
they're very well known in the music world as instrumentalists. And so he hooked me up with Mark. From the very minute we met on the phone, we laughed and cut up and teased, and I just knew that he was the one for me. And so he asked me if I wanted some original songs, and I went, let me think. Yeah, duh, doesn't anybody? And I had been praying for new songs, because you kind of, or for me anyway, sometimes I like the ones I do so much that I get in a rut, and then the Lord has to kick me out of the nest and go, no, go learn some new ones. You can still sing your old ones, but go learn some new ones. So I was able to get, I think there's 8 original songs on that CD from Mark and his people that he knew. We went to Nashville, put down the tracks. Mr. Allen went with me, had a blast, and then once I felt good enough to go back into the studio with the vocals, we got that done and did it in 2 days. It turned out, I think, phenomenal.
Absolutely did.
The crew was incredible. They'd just look at the music and go in there and sit down and play it. I'm like, how they do that? It took me months to get ready to sing all those songs, So anyway, then Cassie came along and she's like, Mom, I think you need to get your songs on the radio. And I said, whatever. And she started asking people to play them, and they did. And we've had, I think the Ordinary Things went number 15.
Yes,
I think.
number 15 on the Power Source HMG Nashville charts, which is one of the largest charts out there.
Well, and huge for me, because
Yes.
I didn't even think I'd be on the radio.
Right.
So, and what I really feel is not bragging on me, it's bragging on God, because it is a music ministry for me. It's not about getting pats on the back, you know what I'm saying? And not that we don't have to have money to go down the road. We do. Hey, you put
Yes.
gas in your car. If you're not working a regular job, you have to have money. But the songs are a ministry tool for me. But I'm a firm believer, if we'll do what God asks us to do, then He'll take care of us.
That's one thing I really learned with traveling with you is people think that just because you sing and you're on the radio that you're getting paid to do all this stuff, when actually the truth is the majority of the time they're paying to be on the radio, and they're paying to be on TV, and they're paying for all the gas and the hotels out of their pocket, and it's without God it's not going in the red if it isn't God doing it.
No, you're exactly
So
right.
it's given me a whole different insight and wanting to help people such as you and other artists out there.
And you've been a great help promoting all of our music, and that's a blessing. We need people like you in our life.
I appreciate
Me too.
it. I believe in what y'all are doing so much. So, what was the first song you released on radio?
Released, not just
Yes,
got played.
the
It
one
would
that got
be-
charted.
It would have been Ordinary Things. And the day that Mark sent me all those songs by internet on my email to listen to, I sat in the office, and that was the first one I listened to, and I just broke down and cried, because it was exactly where I was in my life. You know, because Jeff had not been gone very long, and I was trying to get my breath. I had actually gotten my breath about 14 months after he passed away. Then I felt like I'd caught my breath, and was ready for that next phase in my life, I think. But it's still so fresh that song was like, it ministered to me, that there's other people out there that don't understand enjoying our ordinary things. What's ordinary? This
Right.
is not even ordinary to me anymore, sitting on the porch with a cup of coffee, visiting with you. I mean, you're fixing to get married, and I know you're fixing to be off and doing what you do.
Now, don't
Praise
start
God
that
for
terrible
FaceTime.
Yes, FaceTime.
So we can keep in contact, and we use all our technology. We're country folks, but we use our technology. But
Techno cowgirls.
woo, high-tech rednecks is what we are. So, but it's been fun.
We got to go out to the ICMs in
Year before.
2014. So that was a phenomenal experience.
Huge.
And I know you were very excited and honored to be out there. And can you tell a little bit about that experience for you?
Oh, well, when I got nominated for New Artist of the Year by Power Source, I was shocked. I'm not even going to even lie about it. I was shocked, because what you have to do.
I wasn't shocked.
Well, I was. I had met some folks. Mr. Gene Higgins had contacted me and told me he liked my music and thought it was good, great. I was completely blown away. I actually thought he was not really Mr. Gene Higgins. Remember that
I did
day?
too. I called to
I was
make
like-
sure.
I was like,
this
Gene
is for
Higgins
real.
is calling me, you know.
Yes.
Anyway, pretty funny stuff. But so when we went out there, it was like a dream come true for me, because number one, my song was on the radio, God's song, my song that He gave me. I had met so many new friends. Mr. Gene treated me like gold. I mean, hugged me up, loved me up, told me I looked just like my picture on Facebook, which I felt was a huge compliment, because, you know, you try to put
Absolutely.
your best foot forward. But that was huge. And then 3 of my daughters got to go with me and spend that time. So, you know, again, we can get all wrapped up in the glory of it all, or we can break it down and see what God's really blessed us with. The time in the car driving out there and back was just fun. And then to get to meet all those people, we got to sit where we could actually see ourselves on the TV program
That
when it
was
played.
fun.
That was, I mean,
Yes.
big stuff. I call those God kisses. When God does things for you that you've wanted your whole life, those are God kisses, you know? So,
Well,
it was fun.
You hear a lot of people that think just because you're doing Christian music that if you're trying to, you know, you're talking about your award, or you're talking about your charts, or you're going to an award ceremony, that you're, you know, wanting glory, and that's not true. I saw such humbleness and humility when I was out there, and it was a life change. My whole life has changed since then.
mine
So, you know, it's all to open doors to get you all into places,
It's
and
tools.
so don't let anybody out there tell you that you should not be excited about getting nominated for an award
Not at
or
all.
charting. You know, we all know that it's about God, and so don't let anybody take that from you.
To me, the charts are just an indicator that your music's getting out there and people are listening to
Absolutely.
it. That song can minister, and I have never heard anybody say that a song doesn't move them. It can move you to be happy or sad or worshipful or healing. I mean, there's so much to be said for music, and I know God knows music is powerful. That's why we battle the battles that we battle. You know, so anyway, I could go on and on. I like to sing.
Well, I want to talk about 3 of your songs specifically that have changed my life. The first one I want to talk about is Won't Let Go, and for those of you who don't know, that we now have women's conferences called Won't Let Go. And that song, at a time in my life, what it meant to me was getting rid of, just dropping the baggage that I was carrying and letting God embrace me. And if you guys can, go over to her YouTube account and watch the video Won't Let Go, and you'll see a little bit of that vision of what God showed me in it and what we're doing with these conferences. But can you tell me what it means to you?
Well, again, it was one of those songs God gave me after Jeff went to be with the Lord. And to anybody that's ever lost their mate, I say lost, I know where he's at, and I'm sitting at the feet of Jesus,
Yes.
worshiping right now. But it's like ripping you in half. And I don't care if you're happily married or not happily married, it's still a ripping, because God meant for us to stay together. And when I got that song, it was like this healing. It healed me, that God, no matter what was going on, that he would be right there with me, that he would not let me go through the storm, through the good times, that he would not let me go. Because right after Jeff passed away, I went to the creek. There's a creek on this place. It's probably the most peaceful place I've ever been in my whole entire life, and I've been a few places. But I went to the creek and I just cried out to him. I said, God, what are we doing? I mean, I'm not a big girl. I'm just a little girl. And especially to God, I'm his little girl. And that's what he told me that day. I'm giving you this because you didn't want to do this, but you're capable of doing this. It's like I wasn't in it for the glory, in other words.
Right.
So, but it was a powerful, and it still is when I sing it. Sometimes I get so overwhelmed, it's like it's hard to finish the song. It's a good song.
It's very inspiring, and it's probably healed me through a lot of situations over the last 3 or 4 years. Your song, Faith, I know we have that on the radio. Several of the stations, I believe, are playing Faith. And for me, I always thought I had to do certain things that get God to move, and that it was God I was trying to move through my faith, when actually what your song taught me was that faith is actually supposed to move me towards God. And so it's
And
a
it's
powerful
so simple,
song.
it's hard.
Yes.
You know, I agree with you. It changed my whole perspective of
Yes.
it when I got that song. And again, original one that it's phenomenal. Phenomenal. Not because I sing it, just because the song is a phenomenal song.
Girlie and I both have a favorite song. I guess I have favorites, but they're all my favorite. But we both like, and Girlie, her name's Michelle Nolte. We call her Girlie. But it's a song called Secret. For me, it's real easy. Like, I went through a period in my life where I had some friends that were going through things that I was very judgmental about. And then I found myself falling face down first. And I don't know that I was being punished, because I don't believe God's like that, but I believe I opened up a great big huge door to realize that I'm human and so are they. And the song Secret really helped me through a time that I was going through some counseling, where there were some things that I was talking about that I hadn't talked about. And then to know that every single person that we come in contact with has some kind of secret, you know. And so what inspired you to do that song?
I had gone through and picked out the songs that I thought would work for me that Mark had sent. And that was the last one that I chose. And it reminded me of a hometown situation, which is what the song is really about. How that, you know, even though our moms and dads are looking at us as if we're perfect, that none of us are, you know. And when I called him and I had a list of those songs, and I said, oh, and by the way, I want your secret song. He said, how did you know that was about me? And I went, oh, I didn't know it was about you. So it
Right.
made it even more dear to my
Yes.
heart that it was something that was special to Mark. And I can remember asking him after we recorded it, I said, did it turn out like you wanted it to? He said, oh, yeah, it did. So
Oh.
that was another God kiss, because I highly respect his opinion of the music industry. So
It's a very special song, and I have a vision for that one too, so we're going to see where that goes. Well, we're going to talk about probably one of your favorites that you've got released to radio, and it's called They Saved the World. And Carol's heart and vision for the last 2 years, well, her vision since I've known her has been very patriotic, but for the last 2 years she's been calling her events, her scheduled tour, we've named it, and she's never done that before, but it's called Save the World Tour, and of course it goes with John 3:16, that God so loved the world that, he gave his only begotten son, because that's the first and foremost salvation of saving that we talk about. But it's a song about veterans, and I'd like for you to share with them about They Saved the World.
I met Diana Williams at the first trip out to Nashville, and we just kind of hit it off. And she pitched me this song, and it's about our World War II veterans. And the more I listened to that song, the more it grew in my spirit that we need to make sure that they know we appreciate what they've done for us. Because I don't think some of them have ever even been told that we appreciate that we thank them for that. I have, when we go in and do that song, I usually do it in God Bless USA, because they just fit hand in hand for what my mission is. But I want to stir people up and cause them to not take what we have here in the United States for granted. I believe that if we don't teach our children to be patriotic, we're going to lose this country, because they are our future. And it's not up to the school to teach them. The Lord said, no, it's up to mom and dad, grandma and grandpa. I think that grandparents play a huge role in our grandkids' lives, because they still like us.
Yes,
we're fun.
absolutely.
We're fun. I put the national anthem on Ordinary Things, and I really battled in my mind about it. But after it was done, I've had a lot of comments on it, and for no other reason, my grandkids know the national anthem. They can sing it without even looking at the words. That's important to me. My number one job is to love God, to love my family, and to love my country. And if you don't ever hear me say anything else anywhere I go, and I don't portray that to you, then come get me, and I'll start all over, because that's important to me, very important to me. And the song loves on our veterans, loves on them. And it's not just the World War IIs. I just have a passion because they're getting on up in years and we're losing them. I mean, they're, that one in Austin's 109. 109! I'm like,
By
wow.
the way, if you knew how to get a hold of him,
Oh,
you remember his name?
I don't.
We will look it up. But there is a man in Austin who's 109 years old, and he's a World War II veteran, and we would love to have Carol hug his neck and give him a CD and let him know how much she appreciates him. So if you know who it is, or know any veteran that she can hug on their necks or send them a song, please get a hold of us. You can get a hold of her on her website at carolhogner.com and message her and let her know, who this is.
Yeah, because, we're close enough, but there's times when I look out in the audience when I'm singing that song and I see tears, because those guys have never been told. And it's not just them, it's our Vietnam veterans that were treated so bad when they got home, that I want them to know that I love them, that I appreciate that I can sit on my front porch with a cup of coffee with my daughter and talk about Jesus, that I can go anywhere in this country and talk about Jesus. If those guys hadn't fought for us, then where would we be? Where would we be today if those, and they're like babies to me, but I know they're not all babies, but they're still babies. I don't want my babies to have to go to war.
Absolutely.
So anyway, thank you to any veteran that might be watching this. Thank you. I love you with all my whole heart, and I'm praying for you.
I'm going to say something about her national anthem. So, I cannot watch any sporting events or rodeo events or anything anymore and watch the national anthem that I don't critique it or want to throw a sock at the TV or text her and say, man, they ruined it. You're not singing it. So, if you guys ever need someone to come to your football game, your basketball game, your rodeo, whatever the event where you need that national anthem, I'm telling you, she sings the national anthem.
It's my favorite song.
I have two national anthem heroes. It's Reba McEntire and Carol Hogner. So there you
That's
go.
a high regard for me, I promise you, because I love Reba too. Love Reba. So thank you very much. It's my favorite song. It really is. That the Lord showed me a long time ago that might be the only song that anybody ever hears about God. And I've seen grown men stand and cry while I'm singing the national anthem, and that can't be me. It has to be God. It has to be God.
Absolutely.
So,
Well, I'm going to share my viewpoint of Carol. You've heard her call me daughter, and I call her mom or Mama Joe. And her relationship and my relationship is a lot like God's relationship with us. My mom is Becky Gilman, and my dad is Wayne, and they live in Bonita Grove area and have all of our lives. And found out after I met Carol on Facebook, found out that she and I attended the same churches, the same events. Somehow we did not meet each other. And in 2011, I was traveling and helping somebody in ministry, and they kept saying, "Oh, you need to meet Carol Hogner." And they talked about Jeff and Carol all the time in Silverado Cowboy Church, and I thought they were the pastors of Silverado Cowboy Church for the longest time. And how I needed to meet this lady, and so it just never worked out. And then it was kind of funny because he was very protective of your ministry, which I thought was really neat. But one day he was like, "Well, okay, I know you now. I want to introduce you to Carol. I think you should be traveling with her and helping her." And I was like, "Okay, I live in Oklahoma. She lives in Texas. I'm not sure how that's going to happen." Well, I finally just decided, since we weren't getting connected, that I would just friend her on Facebook, or she friended me. Somehow we got on Facebook as friends. About a year of just little interacting on Facebook, which, by the way, I am a Facebook advocate. It is a good way to preach the gospel, to connect with your family and friends. Just don't make it your only connection.
Good advice.
So I ended up helping another ministry. Through a divine connection from my children's father, Carrie Steinke, who lives in Colorado, hooked me up with her sister, Elizabeth Inman. So I'm going to drop some names here so they can all... You're on our program today.
We love you.
So Elizabeth had a women's retreat in 2011, I believe, in September of 2011. And I was going through a very broken time and was very hesitant to go to the retreat. And I went to the retreat, and I'm glad I did. I got to meet so many people, and I just adopt people and get adopted. And so we call them family and all kinds of stuff. But I was helping with their ministry, and I think I left that weekend, or maybe it was a week or two later after they were telling everybody I was adopted. And I got on my Facebook, and I was like, 1, 2, 3, 4. How in the world are all these people friends with Carol Hogner in Texas? And so I messaged her on Facebook, and I first I asked them, and they said, "Oh, we adopted her," and who we call Grandma Sharon said, "Oh, she's one of my kids." I said, "Well, if I'm one of your adopted grandkids, that makes her my adopted aunt." So I messaged her and said, "I hear that you're adopted into the Grandma Sharon and Elizabeth's family," and I said, "I guess that makes you my aunt, and so it ended up becoming a lot closer than that. And I started traveling with you, I guess, first time would probably have been 2012. You were doing a ministry at Lenapaw.
Oh, that's exactly right.
Yes, what was that church? Justin.
McKee's church.
We have not had enough coffee. Cowboy Capital Fellowship in Lenapaw. We love you. Sorry.
Yes.
We have not had enough coffee.
Yeah.
She was doing a service there, and Hannah couldn't come with her, so she came, and I think she stayed with Elizabeth. And I just wanted to go carry her purse or whatever I could do to help, and so...
And you did.
I did, literally.
She picked my purse up, because I just leave it laying everywhere.
Yeah, I went with her to the service.
You actually ran my music that night.
I did, and I think I messed up a song, was Mortified, but
No.
it was just, she's just Carol.
It's
Mama
music.
Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it started out then, and then I began traveling quite often. They come to Oklahoma a lot back then, and so I would drive and meet them, and then eventually I started driving to Texas. And at that time, I was in transition, and, I needed a place to live, and she just told me, "If you get a job, you just come on down here." And so she probably didn't know she couldn't get rid of me.
She don't know I didn't want to.
But I came down here April 2013, and I might get a little bit emotional, but the very first week I was here was one of the hardest times of our lives. My children's best friend was killed, by a train, and it was a horrible, horrible accident. And, they got me through it. I had a lot of prayer warriors back in Oklahoma as well. Watching your kids grieve is probably one of the hardest things I've ever experienced in my life.
Yeah.
And so from that moment, I've been traveling with them. And her adoption and adopted me into this family, I have never been able to tell a difference that I was not one of your kids. Never. I don't ever feel treated different. And, you expect to be treated different because, in your mind, well, I'm not blood kin. And I think that's how we think about God. We expect to be treated different because we're not, God's got his chosen people, but then he brought the Gentiles in. And we go around thinking less of ourselves, and he says we're the same. We're adopted as king's kids. And that's how Mama Joe has always made me feel. And so we are going through some transition. She's fixing to marry Wyatt and I next weekend. And
Yay!
she's not losing me, and I'm not losing her. She's
No,
gaining
he's
Wyatt.
getting stuck with me though. Ha ha.
So, and it's been really good for my mom and dad knowing that I was here and had a safe place
I got
too.
to say that to your mother. I thanked her for letting me be you be here, and she's like, I know she's in good hands, and that meant the world to me. I love
Yes.
Becky. She's a good girl.
She is.
Her.
We like
She
you.
has a good girl.
We like you, Mom.
Yeah, we like you, Becky.
But I just wanted y'all to know her heart because, and I gotta say, this is how we should feel about God. I can remember, and I still do this. There's not as many young pro trailers out here, so I don't see them quite as much as I did. But I tell you what, every time I went to Oklahoma to see my kids, or go away on a trip, sometimes just go to the post office, I would drive around the corner and go, there's that young pro. Oh my gosh, I'm living at Carol Hogner's house. And I would literally get excited. And that's how we should be about God.
Oh my gosh, isn't it the truth? We need to. God's really had it on my heart to get back to our first love. Can you remember when God first saved you? You accepted Him as your Savior, and how jacked up you were. We get away from that because things start going good or things start going bad, and God's like, no, stir it back up. Stir it back up. Love me just like you did that day that you said yes to me.
Absolutely. I was talking another divine connection. Carol and Hannah sent me to get my hair done today, and I know her name is Sheila, but I do not.
Salzbrenner.
Say it again.
Salzbrenner.
Okay, Sheila was doing my hair, and when I walked in the door, I thought, man, this lady looks really familiar to me. And as we began to talk, come to find out she was from Cowboy Junction and Emmanuel Temple and had lived in Bonita for 10 years. And as we started talking about Emmanuel Temple and Cowboy Junction and Wade and Louise and Donna and Bruce and all these people that are connected with all of us, I started talking about getting filled with the Holy Spirit in Donna's office. Boy, something in me rose up from remembering what I used to do when I was in junior high and high school, and the passion I had, and some time during my life when I was motivating other people, and it got me all stirred up thinking, what in the world would make me want to be any less what I was then?
Absolutely.
And,
that's good.
It's kind of the won't let go and the secret. It's all that stuff that keeps you from doing it. So it's drop that stuff and do what you're called to do.
Life gets us busy.
Yes.
Life wears us down. That's why we have to have our intimate time with Him.
Absolutely.
And then when we stir each other up, I'm telling you, I'm jacked up right now.
Yeah.
I'm jacked up right now. This is fun. I love talking about Jesus. I love sharing with you. I love what God's called you to do. In my mind's eye, I can see what you and Wyatt Sugar Bear are about to embark on, and the excitement of what's about to come. So as a parent, as a claimed parent or adopted daughter, I'm jacked up for you. What an awesome thing to do about, and at the same time, try not to be sad because I'll miss you, But that's okay. If I didn't like you, I would miss you. So I must really like you.
She won't be able to get me too far away.
No, FaceTime.
Yes,
Okay,
we got
get away.
FaceTime and Connected Ministries, and we've got a lot of exciting things coming up.
Yes.
This Saturday, hopefully this video will be up before then. This Saturday, we've got she's got 3 concerts this weekend. She's got 2 or more in De Leon. If I say that name right, De Leon. And then the Switch Cafe in Weatherford. Then Sunday,
What's it called? Cool Texas?
Cool Texas. Sunday morning, you're going to be at Heart of Texas Cowboy Church. Wyatt and I are going to Beautiful Feet Ministries. We have 9 and 11 service, then the Switch, and then we're going to Snyder. So that's kind of what our life is all about. So,
and it's been on a progression.
Yes.
Because we used to travel all, way out and do one service, which we still do, and I'll do it until God tells me to stop. But it's kind of fun that you can put 3 right here local and still be home on Sunday evening to kick your feet up a little bit.
I agree.
So it's been fun. It's a progression for sure. But I'm jacked. I'm jacked up.
Well, next Saturday, April 23rd, if you guys are local, you should come and join us. And we will be doing some live feed on Facebook. I'm sure Carol will be going live when she's singing, depending on our signal out there. But we will definitely have video. It's at Countryside Baptist Church in Mineral Wells. And you can find out information on carolhogner.com, WyattNations.org. You can find the information on Facebook. We'll be posting a lot about that. We have an all-day event. Starts 10:30, kicking off with Carol, and then Hannah's going to be singing. We have Gail Cogburn coming. We have Trish Nations. Sorry. Trish Hawkins, Wyatt Nations, Heather Van Deren, Cherie Gailey, Patricia which is Aunt Patricia.
Hannah.
Hannah, got
We'll let
Hannah.
Hannah sing with
And I might be singing if I don't lose my nerve.
She won't lose her nerve.
But the most important part of the day is at 2:30. Wyatt Nations and I will be getting married, and that's the annual event that we met at. And Mama Jo
And I get to do
yes.
it. I'm honored to get to do it.
Gets to
so.
sing and marry us, and
Perform the
so
ceremony. So it's gonna be fun. Y'all should come.
now will you tell them how they can contact Carol Hogner?
Yes, it's just a touch of love on the internet, www.carolhogner.com or rockin_Mama Jo on Twitter, Carol Hogner on Facebook. Hey you, if you see me at the Walmart.
Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. Definitely go watch her YouTube videos.
You've done some phenomenal stuff with the songs and the videos. I'm grateful for that because there's no way I could do it by myself. And quit being a Lone Ranger. That's what Alan Bach always told us. You quit being a Lone Ranger and secret agents. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to let somebody come be a part of your ministry when God tells you to. Don't do it if He don't tell you to. That's ugly, real ugly, real ugly. But I'm grateful to be just a little part of your life. That's the way I've always felt about the Young Pro kids. When we were out there, the ones that have stayed in touch. We don't talk all the time, but I guarantee you, if you ask one of them if I loved them, they'd tell you yes, she does, because I wanted them to know that somebody out there loved them, and they have good families too. But there's still times when you don't want to talk to mom and dad, and you need that person.
Oh yeah, I agree.
So God's given me that ability, but having fun.
She is, and for those that you're not really sure what goes on in full-time ministry, well, because I've been living in a home with people that are doing full-time ministry, just because they're not out singing every day doesn't mean they're not on Facebook, they're not getting woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning to pray for somebody. They have to take care of their homes, their vehicles, their grandkids, their children, the yard, the horses, and so if you feel led to give into a minister's life or someone that sings Christian music, whatever it is, don't hesitate, because that's probably a prompting from God, because it takes a lot of money and they spend a lot of time that some people may not ever know. And I've learned that full-time ministry is people without full-time jobs and people with full-time jobs, but if they're ministering, tell me it's not full-time. It's full-time.
It is.
24/7.
Absolutely. There's not a place to stop. I mean, where would you stop?
Right.
Sure not going to
And you can't retire. People think you can. How do you retire from ministry?
I don't know.
Now, you might get an RV and minister at the RV parks, but you do not retire from ministry.
No, I don't think if God called you, He called you for a lifetime.
Yeah.
He didn't just call you for a season. So, but
Well, we're going to wrap this up, and you can go to Carol's website at carolhogner.com, and you can find out about all of her music. You can buy her CDs there. You can find all of her social media accounts on there, and you can let her know that you got to watch her on this program and say hi to her. Because
you can also download from iTunes. Our
Yes.
music's on iTunes also. So I'd love to hear from you.
God bless y'all.